Hello, hello, hello. It is Adrienne OB, Capricorntigress of Astrology, a look inside. And I am coming to you tonight. What I want to do is I want to discuss 2020 astrological aspects. Well, at least the 2020 astrological aspects that I think that are going to affect a lot of people. Okay. So that's why I'm here tonight. I really wanted to do this and I wanted to give a little something to each sign. If you've been watching the channel, I've been giving away free readings to my paid customers, at least some of them. And I wanted to come and do something for everybody. So the first sign I really wanted to do is because I did something bad for early January, and I felt so bad to these people because, well, they're awesome people, and I really felt bad about it. And that sign is Scorpio. Oh, I love you, Scorpios. You guys, you know what? I want to tell you something. I am not shaking. I am not shaking. The table is shaking. So I'm going to try to back off the table slowly. Okay. I'm going to try to stop leaning on it because I like to lean on the table. I don't know why. So I'm going to try to stop doing that because it's really kind of weak. Okay. So we're going to pull back off of that. So Scorpio, I just want to have we're just going to have girlfriend, boyfriend conversation right here. Okay. Scorps, let's do this because I got my Venus in Scorpio. I got Venus, or excuse me, I got Scorpio up on my midheaven, got Neptune there. And so what affects Scorpios affects me. I feel it. And so let's first look at where the immediate planets are going to affect you. And then I'm going to talk about some long-term effects. Okay. So one of the things I see right away was, well, today Mars um, went into Sagittarius. So Mars is now in your second house of money. And so you guys might start feeling that money. I think I told y'all to get prepared for that money. That money's coming. It starts today. Okay. Now, the other thing is that the sun is still in Capricorn. Jupiter is in Capricorn. Pluto is in Capricorn and Saturn is in Capricorn. They're all in your third house. This is communication. I told y'all about this. It's highlighted. So you guys can really get your point across, communicate, really hit home with whatever it is that you want to get out, speak your mind, say whatever it is that you want to say. This is the time to do it. I would definitely speak out. Communicate now, Scorpio. Communicate. Now, as of the 10th, that's a week from today. A week from today, there is going to be a full moon. Excuse me. Yeah, a full moon in the sign of Cancer. And that is going to fall in your ninth house. Now, the ninth house it could be travel. It could be, it could be just you Scorpios listening to someone like me who's a little spiritual and woo woo, a little, you know, into that type of mindset. It could be that some Scorpios are going back to church. Some Scorpios are going back to school. That's right. It's beginning of 2020. A lot of Scorpios are going back, getting more education. The North Node is there. And I think you guys have been thinking about it. That full moon, solar eclipse in Cancer is really maybe bringing that to the forefront. The only thing, the solar eclipse is just because there's so many planets in Capricorn, it's kind of overshadowing that full moon that's happening in Cancer next week. So be aware of that. You guys might really be affected by this. Also, the ninth house, some of the things it rules, law, legal things, politics, like police officers or, that type of thing. Let's see, like I said, religion, schooling, especially universities and colleges. um, travel, religion, any kind of religion. I always say it's the God house. It's where the God principle is kind of on display. Like you might feel more spiritually connected, on the 10th. That's that kind of day. Now Uranus is in your seventh house. It's been there for a minute. It goes direct on the 10th. So next, that 10th is going to be a big day for a lot of people. And you Scorpios are one of those people. I mean, Uranus is going to go direct opposed Scorpio. So, just be aware it's happening. Chiron is in your sixth house. And so there's been maybe a little bit of a wound when it comes to work. Maybe you're healing some things that have to do with work. Um, it's teetering between the sixth house and the fifth house now because it's going backwards toward Pisces. I think it's at 1 or 0 degrees of Aries. So that could be affecting not only your work, but romance. And if you're a Scorpio who's got a romance at work, it can be affecting both of those things right now. Now, on the 13th of January, Venus does go into your fifth house. And the fifth house is a house that rules romance. It rules dating and love and just connecting in a romantic way. Also, it can rule children. It can rule your love of your children. It can rule dating, going out parties, taking chances, taking risks, playing the lotto, playing scratchies, also entrepreneurship. But even if it goes into that, it would be a very pleasant, just really very pleasant, affable type of business um, venture. Now, on the 24th of January, the new moon occurs in Aquarius, and it'll be occurring at 4 degrees of Aquarius. And that's going to be in your fourth house of the home and family. And I could see where some Scorpios may have some effect happening in their home and their family. Mercury's going to go into Aquarius on the 16th of January. So there's talking. The sun is going to be moving into Aquarius on the 20th. That's a lot of emphasis in that one house. So you guys watch out on the 24th where the new moon comes in. I think it could be something really good though. I mean, I don't know why. Even though it's a square to Scorpio, it's new. It's a new moon. It's something new and bright and shiny. I mean, between that and Uranus going direct, yes, it could mean tension, but it could just mean activity in your home. It could be new furniture or something like that. What I would just be a little bit on the safe side because Mars is in Sag in your second house. Be cautious of things like fires and electrical and things like that. Just around that time, I would say from the 20th to the 25th, just to be on the safe side. Okay. So I wanted to update you Scorpios on that. One of the things I wanted to talk about with Scorpio, with all the signs really, is that there are several things going on, and that is that Saturn is going to be moving into Aquarius on the permanent basis in March. And when that happens, that's going to be affecting your fourth house and your home on a deep level, like almost all of 2020. So I really want you guys to keep your eye on the things that are going on in your home. Okay? Much love to you, Scorpio. Many blessings. So next, and see, as you guys can tell, I'm not going in any particular order. I'm just pulling them as I see them, okay? But I did put them together almost like couples. So the next one that's coming out is Taurus. And so what I wanted to tell Taurus is that there's a lot going on for you, Taurus, because as of the 10th, as I had just mentioned, Uranus is going direct in Taurus. It's been retrograde for a while. And I feel like it's given a lot of Tauruses, I've been calling it a brief reprieve. Like, some Tauruses went off the deep end in 2018 when Uranus hit Taurus. But then it kind of steadied out, for a lot of 2019, especially during the second half of 2019 when Uranus went retrograde. But now that Uranus is about to go direct on the 10th, I think we might start seeing a little bit more of that erratic behavior that we saw from some of the Tauruses back in early 2019, late 2018. Hopefully Tauruses have gotten accustomed to this weird feeling of Uranus, because they are not, Tauruses, it, you guys are not used to having a sign like Uranus in your sign. It's not your sign. It doesn't belong there. So it feels a little uneasy there. But I think you're going to adjust to it now, because it's like full, you know, full steam all ahead. Everyone goes direct here. So you have no choice but to adjust to having Uranus there. So it may feel a little different. You guys might feel like there's a little, craziness going on almost for you, but it's not. Believe me, it's not. It's just part of that situation where you're learning how to adjust to sudden, unexpected, unexplained events that are occurring in your life, maybe occurring to you directly. And when it happens, now you'll know to flow with that, because it's time to flow with that. Another thing I just noticed was that Chiron seems to be teetering between Aries and 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 Taurus right now. So we'll see what's going on there with that, or Aries and Pisces, actually, I should say. Also, I just realized I picked up, I think, the old form for Taurus. Let me just do something really quick, Taurus. I want to make sure I get the right information, and then I don't give you guys the bad information with everything that's going on here, because I did not update this. I just realized this. So, one thing I'm noticing right away with this update is that you guys, on the 3rd, which is today, Mars is going into Sagittarius, which is in the 8th house. And I'm sorry about this table shaking, going into the 8th house for Taurus. So this is money, Taurus. You guys might have money on the way to you from people that you know. A lot of the emphasis, though, for Tauruses has been in the 9th house. This is the house of travel. It's a house of education and philosophy and religion and politics, and even legal things might have been occurring in your life. So you've been dealing a lot with that, because we've had the sun in Capricorn, we've had Saturn in Capricorn, Pluto in Capricorn, Jupiter in Capricorn. There was that new moon in Capricorn. Venus was in Capricorn. There was a lot in Capricorn. So that's a lot of travel. That's a lot of, philosophical things going on in the mind of Taurus. But now things are going to start shifting, and they're slowly but surely going to start shifting into Aquarius. First, we got the sun going over there into Aquarius. That's the 20th. But on the 16th, Mercury goes into Aquarius as well. And, soon we're going to have Saturn going into Aquarius as of March. So there's a lot of emphasis that's going to be there. That's your 10th house, Taurus. That's a great place to have emphasis. So I hope you're preparing for that, because this is what they call the rise, the pinnacle. And Tauruses are going to be experiencing that for the first time in 28 years. And so some Tauruses can have some really life-changing events go on, especially in the area of your career, your reputation, the way people see you and think of you. Your image is going to get a rehaul. in 2020. Okay? Okay. Well, Taurus, it's been my pleasure to give this to you. I look forward to coming back a little later in the month and telling you a little bit more about some of the things that are going on. Oh, one of the things I forgot to tell you that was really important, and I almost forgot, was that there is going to be a new moon in Aquarius in your 10th house on the 24th of January. It's at 4 degrees. I almost forgot that. That's going to be major for your career. That's the 24th of January. Okay, Taurus? Okay. Much love and light. So next up here, I pulled out, well, Gemini. Gemini. So, the thing for you, Geminis, that's going to be a little bit unique is that next week, today, a week from today, um, there's going to be a full solar eclipse in the sign of Cancer in your second house of money. I foresee that some Cancers are coming into money. And I'm not sure if you'll get the money in January, but it's a full solar eclipse. So something is occurring in that area. And considering that or lunar eclipse, right? The solar eclipse was in Capricorn earlier, just last week. So that was the 8th house. Now we've got the lunar eclipse in Cancer, in the North Node there in the second house. This is beautiful, you guys. I really do see money for Gemini. And so I really hope that comes into fruition for you guys. Now, on the 3rd of January, Mars is going into Sagittarius. And so that's opposing your gems. And you guys might find there's maybe even confrontation that day. That's today. Oh, Geminis are doing okay today. That it wasn't anything really weird. I would be careful with arguments with my partner. Like if you're married or living with somebody, that could become an issue. And hopefully you got through your work day okay without any hidden enemies coming out to come at you today, because that could not have felt good if that happened, Lord. Um, One of the other things I just realized, because I just mentioned enemies, right? Well, Mars in the first or 7th house is open enemies, but you guys have Uranus in the 12th house, which is hidden enemies. And that's been okay since maybe August. But as of next week, today, the 10th, Uranus goes direct in your 12th house. Now, the 12th house is the house of hidden enemies. So Uranus is also sudden, unexplained things. So with Mars in the 7th and Uranus going direct in the 12th, I want Geminis to be aware that you might have some enemies that are going to come right straight out of left field. Like, just be aware of that. So it doesn't knock you off your feet if it should occur. The other thing I wanted to mention is that there is Venus that goes into Pisces on the 13th. And that is, Neptune's in Pisces. Now we've got Venus in Pisces. And so this is your career. I don't know why. When I think about the career of Gemini, I'm hearing like harpsichords and violins. It's beautiful. This is a very good time for you, Gems, with your career. I mean, I know there's a square from Pisces to Gem, but that's action, that's activity, that's being activated with your career. So I hope that you're using your powers of persuasion and your sales ability and your ability to beguile other people with your speech and things like that, because Mercury is very high up. And in fact, Mercury moves into Aquarius on the 16th of January. And then we're going to have a lot of emphasis in your career as of in a few days, okay? Because first we got to get through all these planets in the 9th house. So many people have been going through spiritual awakenings over the last few weeks. You guys have been one of them, Gems. I mean, you had the sun in the 9th house, Mercury and Venus and the new moon, and there's just been a lot going on there. But, things are moving into that area for you. And then things are going to start moving into Pisces after that, which is your 10th house. Okay. And let us not forget, we even have Saturn moving into Aquarius in March. So you've got a lot going on in that God house. This is travel. This is higher education. It's uh, like um, like big time business, publishing, big time publishing. Um, I see politics and causes and stuff like that too, but I'm thinking bigger than that. I'm thinking, big uh, business, big publishing, big ideas, philosophies, dreams, all of those things all taking fruition now. And it's only getting bigger and brighter as, like I said, as Saturn moves into that. And the money, oh gosh, the money with Pluto in the eighth house in Capricorn. Yeah, had, the sun's there still, Jupiter's there, Saturn's there until March. I mean, that's eighth house of money. So, look at the big picture now, Gemini. No matter what you're going through, it's time to see the big picture. Okay. All right. Well, this is what I have to tell you for now. Oh, and I want you guys to be aware of that new moon occurring in Aquarius on the 24th of January. And that is really affecting that ninth house that I just talked about. You guys are really going to feel that. Okay. So much love and light to you, Gemini. And I'll talk to you in a few weeks. Okay. So next up, we've got the sign of Sagittarius. Hello, Sagittarius. Love you guys. So I'm going to start with the obvious for Saggies, which is, well, happy Mars Day to you guys, because this is it. This is your day. This is Mars is in your sign. And sorry, you guys, I've been talking a lot, but a lot of people don't affiliate Mars with Sag or anything. I do. I don't know why. I guess maybe it's because Sag is the archer, and so it's a warrior, and Mars is about warriors. It's it, of course it goes with Aries, which is the natural warrior, pioneer person, but that Mars, even when I look at it with the little point, it almost looks like the glyph for Sagittarius. So something tells me that with Mars being in Sag, that I feel like you're going to be more of the you that is you. And I think you're going to feel like you can express yourself more, and that you can let yourself just come out more and say what it is that you have to say. What I want to caution Saggies about is saying what you have to say in a way that might be aggressive to other people, because Mars makes us a little aggressive, and that's really what it stands for, aggression. And so with Saggies being into their causes, we just, and I say we because I've got Saggy rising in Seattle, so we just have to be a little cautious that we're not being overly forceful, pushing forth our causes or ideas or thoughts. And it's easy to do. It is. It's easy to do. It's because when you believe in something, you really want to get your point across about it, and then it just gets ugly. So I just wanted to caution you guys about that. So other than that, there has been like this crazy stellium of planets in your second house of money, and I don't know how many Saggies are have really manifested the money. There's so much money to be manifested. I mean, with the sun and Capricorn, and Jupiter in Capricorn, and Saturn in Capricorn, and Pluto and Jupiter there. There was the new moon there. There was the solar eclipse there. There's a lot in Capricorn, and it might have even been overwhelming. So I don't know how all of the rest of the Sagittarius handle it. For myself, it was overwhelming, and I just took a break and I stepped back and I put myself on vacation. And even with that, it's still rolling. There were still some sales or whatever. But balancing all of that is important, Sag. It really is. Especially since the North Node is on the other side, and that's in the eighth house. And that's like, that's your partner's money, that's other people's money, that's also getting other people to pay you what you're worth. Because really, all of this Capricorn emphasis in the second house is just put all the emphasis on like what we're worth. Like, are we worth the money that we're charging? Are we worth, what we're off asking people to pay us? And I think the North Node in the second house is bringing this to your attention. I also think that when we have that full moon, there's going to be a full moon in Cancer in the eighth house. And when there is that full moon in the eighth house of money, well, you're going to feel that. You're going to feel that. It may be that there is a direct situation that brings out that feeling of what I'm worth versus what they're willing to pay me. Or are they willing to pay me what I'm worth? I'm telling you, these are issues. So I hope that you play these out in such a way that, you can good results from what occurs. Now, there is going to be a new moon on the 24th of January. That's going to be in Aquarius. That's your third house of communication. And I think that if you've not been able to communicate about what you're worth and how you feel in your words, the things that you want to say, I think after the 16th, when Mercury goes into Aquarius, it's in your third house of communication, then I think you're going to get your voice. You're going to be able to say what you have to say. And I think people are going to listen to what you have to say. And I really think this is going to come to play, especially after the 20th, when the sun goes into Aquarius. And then on the 24th, which is that new moon in Aquarius at 4 degrees, that's when really people are going to start to pay attention, and they're going to say, oh, wow, she's been talking sense all along. Why didn't we listen to her? She's always knew the secret. One of the other things I wanted to mention to you, Saji, is that Uranus goes direct in Taurus in your sixth house. That's your sixth house of health. That's your sixth house of work. So you guys, the weird thing about this is that even though you might have had some weird things going on with your health, you might have felt like there's been a brief reprieve, right? But now it's all going forward again. Be aware of this, because things with your work and your health are going to start to ramping up. They're going to ramp up, and it's Uranus. It's weird. So, with all of the things going on in Aquarius in 2020, I really want us to keep our eye on what's happening with your Uranus in your sixth house, because Aquarius is going to be big in 2020 because Saturn's going into Aquarius. So I just want to make sure you guys are aware of that. And speak your mind, okay? This is your time to speak your mind, especially after the 16th, okay? Oh, also Venus goes into your fourth house along with Neptune. I think you guys hopefully get some new furniture, redecorate something nice in your home. Okay. Much love and light to you. Thank you, Saji. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Let me get a sip here. Give me 1 second. Okay, so we've got next the sign of Virgo. Virgo, my wonderful Virgos. So Virgo, you're going to be affected by, I think, what's going on today, which is that Mars that just went into Sagittarius. And I've been talking a lot about it because, well, it happened today. And it's Mars, it's action, it's activity, it's where the action is. And in your chart, it's in the fourth house of the home. That means your home and family are taking a lot of action in your life, Virgo. In fact, it could even be your mother or your actual siblings, like your mother, father, that type of thing. I could say that my daughter is a Virgo, and I spent most of the morning talking to her on the phone about political things that I have no vested interest in. So Mars in the fourth house is really important. And I think connecting with your family, connecting with your, your maternal parent, whoever raised you, connecting with your home life, and maybe even hopefully not arguing in your home or with your family, but just being more present, because that's where all the action is. That's where all the drive is right now. I could say use it, fixing, clean up your home. Yeah, great time for that. One of the other things I really wanted to talk about is, well, how has Capricorn been treating you? There's been a lot of Capricorn in your fifth house, Virgo, a lot of Capricorn. I mean, we still have the sun in Capricorn, but Saturn's been there, Pluto's been there, Jupiter's been there. We just got that solar eclipse and new moon that's been there. It's that fifth house is huge. Mercury's been there. I mean, in fact, Mercury's still there. Has Venus left it, right? Yeah. Venus is in Aquarius right now, but it's huge. So I've checked my daughter on several occasions, Miss Virgo, just to make sure, are you pregnant? Fifth house, fifth house. If you have children, I could see Virgos dealing a lot with their children. And it could be the gambit of what you have to deal with. I mean, it could be that your kids are, running amok. It could be that they're doing well. It could, it's just children. Also, if you're not dealing with children, it could be dating and love and romance. Some Virgos might have gotten back to love in their romance, in their marriages. It's just that type of time. And if you haven't done that, well, when Venus goes into Pisces on the 13th, that's when you're really going to have that love in that romance, in your partnership, in your marriage. This is a good time, I think, for some Virgos and their marriage partners. Between Neptune and Venus in the seventh house, it should be a very almost movie-like experience for some of you guys. Just amazing. Now, the sun is going to move out of Capricorn and go into Aquarius on the 20th, and then it goes into Aquarius. It's your sixth house. Now, the funny thing is, the sixth house is not a big house, right? It's not a fancy house. It's nothing, it ain't nothing going on over there really in the sixth house except health and work. But for Virgo, oh, there's a party going on. That's your house. Now it's like the sun is home. Even though it's in Aquarius, it's your house. It's the house of Virgo, the sixth house. So when the sun hits this house on the 20th, I believe your health is going to improve. I believe your work life is going to take off. I think you'll be able to fix whatever's going on with your work. Definitely emphasis will be in your work. I mean, if you got squares and things like that in your chart, now that might be a problem. But for most people, when it goes into the sixth house, it's going to put the emphasis there. And it's just going to be like, the Midas touch there. And that's a great thing. On the 16th, Mercury goes there. On the 20th, the sun goes there. On the 24th, we got a new moon in Aquarius. It's all happening in that sixth house. And I think your health will improve. I think your work's going to improve. It's a beautiful thing. Your entire third quadrant is on fire. Or second quadrant. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Now, the other thing is Uranus is going to go direct on the 10th. And also there's going to be a full moon in Cancer on the 10th. The 10th is a big day. The 10th is a big day because we'll have the full moon in Cancer at 20 degrees of Cancer on the 10th. And then we're also going to have Uranus go direct on the 10th in your ninth house. But that full moon in Cancer, that's your 11th house. I'm thinking, okay, a couple of scenarios. Let me step back for a second. A couple of scenarios. Because I'm thinking about all of the planets that are still in Capricorn, right? So, and Saturn and Pluto are in the 20s, so they're most likely making an what they call a opposition. So it's going to be opposing. Okay, so what I want you to be cautious of on the Ooh, 10, 10, 10. No arguing with your friends, Virgo. None. Do not argue with your friends because it'll get heated and it'll get emotional and it'll take on a life of its own. It'll get more emotional than it needs to. I'm telling you, you don't want to lose a good friend that you love that day. So no arguing on the 10th, none. And Uranus goes direct that day, you know it's going to want to pop off. I've been warning every sign about Uranus going direct because we all know it's going to pop off. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to keep it real. I really am. And with the full moon in Cancer, oh my goodness. And that full moon in Cancer is sextiling Virgo. And Uranus is in Taurus, it sextiles Virgo. Please, you guys, just chill that day. Do some type of meditation. Keep music in your ear. People try to jump on you, walk away. They say turn the other cheek. That's a turn the other cheek day. Okay? All right. Love you, Virgos. Much love and light to you. So next up on my list is the sign of Pisces. Pisces. Pisces, you're another one. You've got a big month coming. And same reason I've been telling all the mutable signs. It's because today, Mars went into Sagittarius. And for you, Mars in Sagittarius is your 10th house. Right. And the 10th house is, well, it's a good house. If you're going to have Mars anywhere, why not have it in the 10th house? Why not have it push forward your career and propel you up to the ladder of success? Because that's exactly what Mars in Sagittarius wants to do. And I'm smiling because Sagittarius is a positive sign. And Mars, although aggressive, well, it actually adds a bit of pizzazz and oomph when it's in the 10th house with Saggy. It really does, because Sagittarius sometimes are not directed and they can be lazy. I know I've got Sag rising here in Seattle and it doesn't direct itself. But with Mars, that's fire. It's like it's literally putting fire under your butt in your career. So I think you guys I think you can attain some amazing things this month. And I really do believe that. I say this because as of the 13th, right, the 13th, Venus moves into Pisces, and then it's really creativity time. I mean, you Pisces are going to be capable of the most beautiful creations in the month of January. Really, I see it. I mean, Neptune is in Pisces, Venus is in Pisces. It's in you. It's in you, Pisces. So you're going to be exuding the beauty. You're going to be exuding the creativity and whatever that is. It's ephemeral. It's gorgeous. I don't even know how it's going to take effect. I just feel it. And I've been telling the signs about it because when the 13th rolls around and Venus enters Pisces, well, it's just, I think there's going to be a shift in some things, especially with Mars and Sag, because eventually okay, how can I put this? Mars and Sag tends to be aggressive because it's an aggressive combination. I like it for Pisces because it's the 10th house. So, your aggression would be in your career. It's a good place to have the aggression, especially if you've not been ambitious, because it propels the ambitions. Okay. Neptune and Venus in the first house are giving creativity, hands down. It's creative and it's beautiful. It's maybe even creation, like literally creating. I don't know why I just suddenly saw some Pisces are giving birth, and their children are going to be so freaking creative. I see this because of the North Node being in Cancer, which is the 5th house of Pisces. Also, there is a full moon occurring in the sign of Cancer on the 10th. So any mother having their child on the 10th, my goodness, what a creative little type they're going to have. But that is going to be an amazing full moon for Pisces because it's the 5th house. And even if you're not pregnant, I'd be cautious of getting pregnant that day. I'm just saying, it's a full moon in Cancer in your 5th house. Because some people are going to be getting lucky. Wait a minute, let me see what. I'm so nosy. And it's a Friday. I knew it. I knew it. It is a Friday. I just checked. People are going to be getting busy. That's getting busy. If you don't want a child, Pisces, please make sure you take all possible precautions because between the 10th and the 15th of January, mm, 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 mm. That's all I got to say. Just be careful. Full moon in the 5th house. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to say is just the emphasis on that 11th house that you guys have had. And there's going to start, you're going to start feeling emphasis going into the 12th house. And I wanted to prepare you for that, just subconsciously, okay? You guys have been dealing with all of this emphasis in the 11th house, which is your friends and clubs and associations and organizations that you belong to. You might have been participating, growing, making new acquaintances, getting to know new people, just reaching outside of your comfort zone, right? And getting to connect with others. But now you're going to find it, you're going to start wanting to pull in. And you know, the funny thing is when these planets start going into Aquarius, so the sun is going to move into Aquarius on the 20th. Let's see, Mercury is going to move into Aquarius on the 16th. And then we're going to have that new moon. I've been talking a lot about that. That's going to be happening on the 24th. These are all happening in your 12th house. Now, you know, the funny thing is, if this was happening to any other sign where they were getting a stellium of planets in the 12th house, I'd be like, ah, not you, Pisces. This is your house. It's going to be chill. In fact, I think most Pisces are going to have a beautiful month, okay? Because this, first of all, Capricorn, everything in Capricorn is sextile Pisces anyway, so you're flowing. The month is flowing. But I think between that Venus going into Pisces and then the slow, gradual drift of planets into your 12th house, the natural house of Pisces. Oh, well, it's your month. You'll drift easily into this 12th house period with no problem, okay? Now, one of the things I do want to say to you, Pisces, is I do want you guys to prepare, though. I do. I want you to prepare for what it feels like to have that kind of emphasis in your 12th house. So, you know, as of, I guess it starts around the 16th when Mercury goes. Start feeling how that feels, like having these planets deposited in your 12th house. And the reason why I say that is that as of the 21st, well, I have here the 23rd, but it's actually the 21st. As of the 21st, Saturn is going into Aquarius, and that is a very heavy planet in your 12th house. And you guys are not going to be able to escape that, really. It's going to go back and forth between your 12th and 11th house, and you know, back and forth it goes until December. But I want you guys to understand that you might have an increase of dreams, out of body experiences, um, just thoughts that, like, I'm thinking, like, what is that deja vu, the deja vu things? What I don't want to see is Pisces using drinks, drugs, you know, vices to kind of hide from whatever is brought up from the transit of Saturn in your 12th. So if you can avoid that, then you're winning. Okay. So I hope that you guys prepare for it. Okay. All right, well, Pisces, this has just been an update, and I'll come back in a few weeks and tell you guys a little bit more. Sending out much love and light to you, and happy 2020. So next up on my radar, let's see who I've got next here. We've got Aquarius. Aquarius. I'm not going to sing this time. I held it back. I always love singing the Aquarius song. And Aquarius, I'm going to just start with what I just told these guys a second. I just talked about Pisces, and I was telling them about preparing for Saturn in the 12th house. Well, I don't have to tell Aquarius this because Aquarius has been dealing with Saturn in the 12th house all year. And well, actually since what, 2017, that's when Saturn went into Capricorn. And so you guys know what it's like to have that heaviness in the 12th house. A lot of Aquariuses have really started to pick up on their, I want to say psychic ability. There's a little bit of that going on, but I think it's just connecting to like the unknown, the spiritual part of us there, or the spiritual realm. It's like that place where we go when we go into the REM state. I always say you write down what you find when you're sleeping, and I believe the Aquariuses have been just living in this spot for a minute. I mean, look, we've got the sun in Capricorn right now in the 12th house, Jupiter in Capricorn in the 12th house, Saturn in Capricorn in your 12th house, Aquarius, Pluto in Capricorn in the 12th house. I believe it was what, Mercury in Capricorn in the 12th house. That's so much going on in that subconscious hidden state. And a lot of Aquariuses have been hiding away. Be honest. You've been hiding. And it's time to stop because Saturn's not going to let you much longer. And right now, I think it's okay. I think this is what you've been supposed to do. I think clearing out the mental garbage, the emotional hidden baggage, which is 12th house. I think this is what we've been supposed to do. And I say we, because I was born with Aquarius on the first house or inside of it. And so I feel this, whatever this is. So clearing out all of that baggage before Saturn goes into Aquarius. And that's the big thing, Aquarius, for you guys. That's January, February, and March. I mean, it's coming. It's coming. And there is nothing we can do to stop that. It's a major life occurrence. It only happens every 28 years, and it's about to happen to Aquarius. So whatever you need to do to prepare for it, by goodness, do that. The thing is, you've been dealing with, I think, Venus in the first house, Aquarius. And that's going to be moving. Venus is moving into Pisces on the 13th. So it'll be coming out of the first house. But I think a lot of Aquariuses have just been very, I think, in tune with whatever that love factor is. That human factor, because Aquariuses are in touch with that anyway, like the humanity factor. And I think a lot of you guys have been dealing with this, but I think when Saturn gets into your first house, you're really going to be dealing with it. And I think this month, it's starting as of today, with Mars that just went into Sagittarius, the sign of causes, in the 11th house, which is the house of Aquarius. So a lot of Aquariuses are going to be really into their causes. I would say, like, I don't know why I keep thinking like helping out my brother man, my fellow man, participating in groups and clubs, organization. I'm seeing all kind of like charities, everything you can imagine that has to do with a cause, donations. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, all of that. Just lots and lots of activity in making new connections, new friends, new acquaintances, getting into new groups and doing things like that. This is where all the focus is for you guys now. And this is where you're supposed to put the focus. So definitely put it there, okay? Because that's where it's supposed to be, which is awesome. One of the other things is that on the 10th, right? Yeah, on the 10th, we've got, right, here we go. On the 10th, we got a couple of things happening. Okay, so on the 10th, we've got, sorry, you guys, I should have did this beforehand. Sorry. Okay, here we go. On the 10th, we've got the full moon in Cancer. Full moon in Cancer, it's in the 6th house for you guys. So that is going to affect your health, definitely. Definitely, Aquarius, for sure. Between, oh, wow, and it doesn't even leave yet. Okay. So some Aquarius is, I mean, I might be overreacting, but I swear I picked up gout. I swear. So some Aquarius is maybe thinking, picking up things like you maybe should even get checked out for things like gout, diabetes. You just had Venus in the 1st house since the 20th of December, the greediest, most fattening time of the year. And now there's going to be a full moon in Cancer in this 6th house. So if you feel that you need to go see a physician about maybe weight gain or anything like that, maybe sugar or, something like that, please go do it, because you might need to do that. It's been a really rich time food wise for a lot of Aquariuses. But I think the full moon in the 6th house also is going to help put attention on your work. And, if you lost any kind of oomph for your work, then this is going to bring it back. You'll feel like attention go back into your work again. And that'll be exciting because you'll get that desire to get back into it. And I'm actually looking forward to that because I can tell you I've been lazy. Okay. So I feel I'm happy that I'm even saying this since I've got this in my chart. Uranus is going direct in the 4th house as well. If you guys have been dealing with anything with your home, or you just feel like your family or something like that has been off, it's just maybe no progress. It's going to get some progress as of the 10th. And I don't even know how to give this. Okay, I'm just going to give my own personal story. Okay, so I've got Taurus in the 4th house. And the only thing I can think of is about my marriage, which is I've been waiting for my divorce and it's just not coming through. I'm hoping after the 10th, because it's going direct, right? Taurus, he was a Taurus. Taurus, so it's all going direct. So it might be sudden out of the blue, but as long as it's making a forward movement, that's all that matters. Okay, so forward movement. And one last thing I want to say. With Neptune and Venus in your 2nd house in Pisces, I foresee, well, first of all, unless there's this unbelievable decadence, which again, go see your doctor if you think you got gout or something, right? But, potential for something really pretty, like money coming in, or new furniture, or new clothing, or just some kind of new thing, new possession that you own. It could just be showing a new way that you give, and I think that when you do give, as of the 13th, you're going to be giving out of your heart. It's really I just see something really great happening for Aquarius when they give, truly give. Okay. All right. Well, this has been my message for you, Aquarius, and much love and light to you, Aquarius. And it's going to be a great year. Stay positive. It's on and popping for you, Aquariuses. Okay. All right. So next up, I got the sign of Leo. I love you, Leos. Okay, let's see. What's the big thing that gets me with Leo first? There's so many things I want to talk about. I don't know where to go first. Really, I kid you not. And I tell you why. I've been talking about this with all the signs, but every sign has something I think that sticks out for that sign. And for me, although I've been talking about Mars and Sagittarius with every sign, it's different for Leo. And that's because Sagittarius trines Leo. And yeah, and this Mars is happening in Sagittarius. And so it's also happening in your fifth house. That's the house of love. That's the house of romance. That's the house of dating and falling in love. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. I've been seeing a lot of wonderful things for a couple of signs. I need to hook y'all up. But Mars in the fifth house, Now, here's the thing. I'm hoping that Mars in the fifth house comes through with action and attention, aggression, but toward positive, uplifting, happy things. Because the fifth house is happy. What I don't want to see someone do with Mars and Sag in the fifth house is, use it to be just to cause harm or anything like that to a partner or like to a love person, like to get into some type of argument, you know, instead of loving. It's important, especially since it's trine Leo, that you Leos, because it's your house, right, Leo? The fifth house is your house. So it's almost like Mars is on you. Mars is it's all fire, it's all shining, and it's all for the uplifting of you, okay? Because it's the fifth house. So you're really going to feel this on a deeply personal level. And there may be more love relationships available to you, more people that are open to having relationships with you. You might feel more like you have more confidence, especially if you're a man. I see men having more confidence to go out and start that new relationship now, you know, and actually be romantic, not just trying to get in the pants, but trying to start a romantic relationship. And that's what the fifth house is. It's romance. And I really, because since Leo is the lover, I see some Leos getting in some pretty romances. Oh, I wish I knew a Leo right now. Anyway, so, and I think you Leos have earned it. I'm serious. There's been so much emphasis in the house of work for Leos. You guys have worked so hard. You really have. I mean, there's been the Sun and Pluto and Jupiter and Saturn and Mercury and Venus and everything's been there. It's just been so much work. And I don't know if it's been easy. Like it almost seems like it could have been a whole bunch of just too much, really. And I'm glad that some of it is going to begin to shift out of just work and health. Some of you guys might have been going through some health issues. This might have been coming out in health, not work, but health. I can see that. And the reason I say that is because the North Node is over in the 12th house in Cancer. And on the 10th of January, there's going to be a full moon lunar eclipse at 20 degrees of Cancer. But that's your 12th house. So, that could be your emotional health. It could be like hidden secrets, just skeletons in the closet. It could be hidden enemies, even. It just could just be your health, your emotional health, your mental health, you know. If I when I want to see if someone's going to have a nervous breakdown, literally, I look to the 12th house. That's where I go first. It just tells me. And you guys are candidates. So be careful, between Saturn and Pluto opposing the full moon, right? So we're dealing with health houses. 12th house is a mental health house. 6th house is a physical health house. So mental health, physical health. And your work life could affect your mental health. So if you're going through problems at work, it could affect you on an emotional, mental level. Please be aware of these things. Also, I'm thinking with the planets starting to make their trek into Aquarius over the month of January, you really might start getting some opposition from hidden enemies. Nah, they're not even going to be hidden. They're going to be out. And let's see, Mercury goes into Aquarius. I think Venus is already in Aquarius. So we got Venus in Aquarius right now. And Mercury goes in on the 16th. The sun goes into Aquarius on the 20th, and there's going to be a new moon in Aquarius on the 24th. That's a lot of seventh house or open enemies. Now, this with Mars in the fifth house could tell me that someone is going to hook up romantically around the 13th, and by the 20th, 24th, they're going to be in a partner. Somebody's getting hooked up. I'm serious. Someone getting pregnant and someone getting hooked up, or someone getting someone pregnant and getting hooked up. There will be the hookup. Okay, we will have that. Just know that's happening. Also, with Venus and Neptune going into your eighth house of sex, and I know people hate it when I talk about it, but look, let's keep it real. It's Venus, it's Neptune, it's a house of sex. It's going down. Be careful unless you want to have children. Just saying. Also, Uranus goes direct on the 10th in your 10th house. Thank gosh. I mean, in a way, like there's only two scenarios. Okay, Uranus either has been holding your career hostage by going retrograde since August, and finally, after a long period of time and working like a dog, I must add, you might finally get ahead in your career. Maybe it just might be that Uranus has just been holding things at bay, and now they're really going to go screw up. Please be aware of this. Because when it goes direct, it's going direct. That means whatever havoc Uranus wants to wreak in the sign of Taurus, it's going to start wreaking it. Just be aware. I had to tell you guys that. Again, be cautious on the 10th with that full moon, because that is a lunar eclipse. So people are going to be a little cold when they shouldn't be. That's what, whenever I see lunar eclipse, especially in Cancer, I'm like, ooh, there's a certain coldness that shouldn't exist, because we're dealing with Cancer, we're dealing with the moon, and we're, so be aware of that coldness. It might come out and work with all that Capricorn opposing it. Just want you guys to know that, Leo. Much love and light to you. Okay, you guys, let me get a sip, and then I'm going to finish these up. Give me a second. You know what? I might even take a sip of this liquid right here. Okay. And just in case you guys didn't know, I'm going to break these all down so that, I have individual readings for you guys later. Okay. Because I know you don't want to have to sift through them all later. So next up is the sign of Capricorn. Capricorn. I love you, Capricorns. Okay. So I'm a Capricorn too, as you guys well know. And I got stuff to talk about. I got stuff to say here, people. Okay, first of all, I did not do all my things like I'm supposed to. So give me a second while I do that. 1 second, just putting down my numbers, that's all. Just want to make sure. So when I'm talking, I know what I'm talking about, not just spouting craziness. Okay, there we go. I think that was the 16th. Yeah, there we go. And also, yeah, we got that full moon over there. Oh, wait, wrong spot. Here we go, full moon here. All right. Okay, I'm going to make sure I've got the time. Okay, you guys. I really am a stickler for numbers sometimes, because I don't like saying things and then don't have the numbers, and it throws things off. Okay, so Capricorns, you're someone I really wanted to talk to, because we have had a lot of things occurring, Capricorns, a lot of things. It's a big, major year for Capricorns, probably the biggest year for Capricorns, or biggest couple of years that we'll have for the next 28 years. Saturn went into Capricorn in December of 2017, almost 2018. And the funny thing is, I can say for a certainty, things have never been quite the same since then. So there's been a big change, a big shift, a lot of growing, a lot of growing. And I could say that I believe in my heart that a lot of Capricorns are not the same as they were back in 2017. We're never going to return to that sense of innocence that we had back then. We're just not. And I think that's what Saturn does. It makes you wise. It grows you up, and it can be devastating. It can even hurt. I don't know how many tears you cried, Cap. I know I did, but I know I'm wiser. I know I'm stronger, and I know I'm now mature. And with Pluto there, and now we've got Jupiter in Capricorn, I think it's only going to improve. It's only going to go upward. The sun has been in Capricorn most of, it will be there until the 20th. So there's a lot of growth that we can make in the month of January, and a lot of strides that we can make, especially after this new moon that we just had. Now, there is going to be a full moon lunar eclipse on the 10th of January. That's in our 7th house in Cancer. So, yeah, it's a full moon. It's possible that there are people who don't like us. It's possible. I've accepted it a long time ago. And there's not much you can do about that. I mean, Mars is going into Sagittarius today, the day it went in. And that means that Mars is in the 12th house. That means it's in the house of hidden enemies. It could be our own hidden ways that we screw ourselves up. It could be that, but a lot of times it's indicator of hidden enemies. And with Mars there, well, the potential for that to be great is there. So be aware that we are facing this. And then I think around the 10th, it might really get ugly. I mean, we might actually see some actual people who don't like us, and they let everyone know. I mean, I see that. I mean, my goodness. Now, here's a funny thing. On the 10th, Uranus goes direct in Taurus, but it goes direct in our 5th house. So if our love life was stable, it might start to go unstable as of the 10th of January. Another thing is that I do believe that after the 13th, when Venus goes into Pisces, that our ability to communicate in a more calming, relaxing, soothing way is going to be really evident. And, I actually plan to do lots of recordings between the 13th and, and when it leaves, because that's a beautiful thing if we can get that across. Now, as of the 20th, I'll say as of the 16th, that's when Mercury goes into Aquarius. But we're going to have a stellium of planets move into the 2nd house of money, Capricorn. So as of, when Mercury goes into Aquarius in the 2nd house of money, that's when it's really going to be on and popping. That's your mind on your money on your mind, right? Mercury in the 2nd house, the sun's going to be in the 2nd house, and that new moon in Aquarius is going to be in the 2nd house. I think if we're not making the money, we're going to be thinking about how we're going to make the money. And this is the time to do that, Kat. This is our time to think about making the money. Also, I want you guys to be aware, I don't know if you know this, but Saturn is going to be moving into the sign of Aquarius. When it does in March, I mean, you guys need to prepare for having Saturn in the 2nd house of money. Money, either we're going to be working hard and we'll learn how to amass money, or money is going to be so incredibly difficult. So I would start stashing away money in any way you can. Okay. Just my insider's tip. I'll be back in a few weeks, Caps, just to talk a little bit more. about where the planets are in the night sky, sending out much love and light and many blessings to all the Capricorns out there, okay? Blessings to you. So let's see, we are getting closer now. We are now dealing with the sign of Cancer. Cancer. Hello, Cancers. So you know what, Cancer? I have to start right where I have to start with you guys, which is that there's going to be a full moon in Cancer. Lord have mercy. It is. Does that tell you right away? I don't even hold the punches no more. It just came right out. There's a full moon in Cancer, and it's going to be happening in your first house. It just tells me that a lot of Cancers, well, it might get emotional. It might, full moon makes people emotional. It makes you feel emotional. It makes you do emotional things. And so you guys might really feel that. I feel like it's been really strange for a lot of Cancers. Anyway, there's been so much emphasis in your seventh house. Oh my gosh, so much emphasis in partnerships. You guys really have been dealing a lot with partnerships lately. I mean, I would even go as far as to say some Cancers have probably fallen in love. They might be on the verge of getting married even. I mean, there is a lot of planets going on in Cancer. I can't lie. And, the funny thing is, you know, whatever it is you guys are doing, I guess that's what you're supposed to be doing because the sun is there, Pluto's there, Saturn's there, Venus was there. Mercury was there. Jupiter's there. There was the solar eclipse there. There was a new moon there. I'm thinking whatever you guys did during this period toward creating long, permanent, lasting relationships with others, well, okay, that's what you were supposed to do. As of the 16th, Mercury moves into Aquarius in the 8th house. On the 20th, the sun moves into Aquarius in the 8th house. And then there's going to be a new moon not a lunar eclipse, excuse me. There's the lunar eclipse is on the moon, which is happening on you guys right now, as of the 10th. But there is going to be a new moon at the 24th of January. That's your 8th house of money. That's partnership money as well. That's also sex. I see good sex happening for a lot of Cancers. Lord have mercy. But that lunar eclipse moon, I'm just going back to that. You guys are emotional right now. I'm not sure I would make permanent decisions when I'm emotional. So, don't make any permanent decisions on the 10th. I'm just saying. Also, Uranus goes direct on the 10th in the 11th house of friends, opposing the 5th house of romance. I can see some Cancers going and getting married or getting engaged and going the next day like, what the heck did I do? What did I do? So yeah, I can see that happening. And good luck to you on that. Mars does move into the 6th house of work. It's also your health. So with Mars in the 6th house, I would be careful of inflammation. Just had to say it. It's in Sag. It's the hips, thighs, inflammation. But other than that, there is a lot of emphasis in your work, and I think you can get a lot accomplished. The only thing I would do is just, like I said, don't get over emotional on the 10th and, keep your equilibrium about you. And I think that if you've been having problems, with so much emphasis in the 7th house, I don't think it's been bad, but if it has been, it should ease up. Okay. All right, Cancer. Well, much love and light to you. Many blessings, and we'll talk to you later in the month. Bye now. So let's see. Who do I got next? Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to do it opposite because I am not putting them last again this month. I have put them last every month. And this is one month I put my foot down and I refuse to do it. I refuse to put Libra last. Refuse. So guess who's up next? Libra. I got you, Libra. I got you. See that? I almost caught myself doing the same thing. And I'm like, why do I always put them last? What the heck is that? I'm not doing it again. I'm not doing it. I don't know why you guys always end up at the bottom of the pile. It's just a crazy thing. So let's talk about where all of these planets are. I'm actually writing down some notes, you guys, because I tend to get all over the place without notes. And I just like making sure I got my numbers and I put down the actual facts and don't start running off at the mouth because I will run off at the mouth. That's what I do. Okay, so here we go here. Let's get this going. Is that Venus? Okay, that's the 13th. Okay, so and this is today. So as of today, Libra, as of today, it's actually a good thing. Venus, excuse me, Mars went into Sagittarius. Mars went into Sagittarius today, and it's in your third house of communication. And it's a good thing because I think that whenever that Mars goes anywhere, it tells us where the action is, where the push is, where the energy is, where the drive is. And so for you, the energy and push and drive is in the area of communication. Now, it could be local travel, like just doing things in your local neighborhood, doing things with like your community and your family members, like, cousins, aunts, uncles, sisters, brothers, that kind of thing. But I really think that it's communication. You're gonna probably feel like, wow, I'm getting way more telephone calls, or wow, I'm getting way more emails, or I don't know. Like you might have more people actually even coming to your house, like to visit. You might even. I really see more people coming to visit. I've seen that for Libra all month, and that's because you guys have had a stellium of planets in Capricorn, and that's all down in your fourth house. So with Pluto, the Sun, Jupiter, Saturn, Venus, the Moon, Mercury, everything's been through that fourth house. Every planet almost. And so I can see that you guys have had a really busy home. Your home has been busy. And it's going to start shifting out of just home and family. And it's actually going to start moving into the fifth house, which is love and romance and flirting and dating and kissing and holding and making all kind of sweet little nothings. I love the fifth house anyway. But it also could be like taking chances and playing the lotto and contest of all kinds. That's the fifth house. Also entrepreneurial pursuits like opening your own business, just taking chances, because that's taking chances, right? So the new moon is going to be there on the 24th. The sun goes there, Aquarius, on the 20th, and Mercury goes into Aquarius on the 16th. So as of the 16th, I mean, my goodness, I think already because Venus is there. Venus is in the fifth house right now. So you guys are probably already feeling a little bit of romance in your life, Libras. It's going to be fairly romantic by the end of the month. And I think if you express yourself and you communicate with that Mars that's in Scorpio is talking about that Mars that's in Sagittarius, you're really going to be able to feel that. You'll be able to communicate. What I don't want to see, because I've been warning people about this. Saggies, Saggies love to be right. I know I got Saggy rising in Seattle, and Saggies get on like tangents with causes and things they believe in. And so, with it being in your area of communication, it's possible you guys can get on tangents and just really start communicating about things, and it can blow up. It could get, combustible because it's fire and it's Mars. So I really want you guys to be aware of that so that you don't start arguments with anyone, and you don't let, like, if someone even comes at you, that you're aware, oh, because that Mars in Sagittarius, I'll just let that slide, one of those things. You might find that you have to do that, because that's a good thing about knowing when you know what's going on, or like someone said, hey, this is going to happen, and it happens, you're like, I knew that was going to happen. So anyway, the other thing is that Venus is going into your sixth house in the sign of Pisces on the 13th. I like that. I like Venus going into the house of work. One, because Venus is your planet, Libra. That's your planet. And wherever Venus goes, it tells me where you go. Okay, so even you, this point, it's work. I would say Libras, it's put in your effort and work and your health, because the sixth house is also health. So I can see Libras doing things that will improve their health. And I made a special video for you, Libras, at the beginning of the end of December. I hope you find that. And it was, I had said something about January not being your year. Well, that's early January when you're so much down in the fourth house in Capricorn, and, it's all squaring Libra. How could it possibly be a good month? But once those planets start shifting into Aquarius, that's all going to trine Libra. Then it really starts to be a great month for you guys. Maybe even your best time of the year if you're like, especially if you're like an early Libra. So be aware of that. Like, you might be just coming into your own time after the 20th, and to be ready for the perk up. The other thing is that on the 10th is such a big day. I've been really spending a lot of time on that. Okay, so on the 10th, Uranus is going direct in Taurus, and that is your eighth house of money. Eighth house of money. That's also your partner, like your partner's money. So with it being Uranus, be aware of that. Be aware that other people may not, if they haven't paid you, you might have to go and do something to get the money. Also, be aware that your partner might do something weird with money, especially with Chiron kind of teetering between the sixth and seventh house, because it's been in Aries, which is your seventh house of partnerships. So I just don't want to see that you've got a partner that does do something with your money. I would be pissed too. Okay, the other thing is, I think I mentioned this, but there is going to be that full moon in Cancer, and that full moon is on the 10th. It is a lunar eclipse. To me, I just feel like people are going to be a little cold when they should be emotional. And this is going to be in your 10th house of career. So you might experience some coldness in your career. And this is really going to come to play because Saturn's in Capricorn, Pluto's in Capricorn. They're opposing this moon. This full moon is going to be a colder full moon than a lot of people think. I've been trying to tell people, but no one's listening. But I believe this. And it's because it's a full moon being opposed by Saturn, and the full moon's in the 10th house, and that's Saturn's house. Just saying, be aware of it. If your boss or someone at work says something smart ass, just turn the other cheek. I've been telling everyone, turn the other cheek on the 10th. If you can, do it. Believe me. And I think that things are going to perk up when there is that next new moon in Aquarius in the fifth house, because then, it's Aquarius, it's trining Libra, it's a fifth house, it's fun, it's love, it's romance, it's dancing, it's parties, it's just a much better time. Okay, so much love, much light to you, Libra. I'm so glad I didn't do you last this time, and I'm telling you, things are going to perk up by the end of the month. All right, blessings to you. So it looks like my last one this month is Aries. And I didn't mean to do it, Aries. I love Aries. I actually have Aries rising, and I've got a really special story I want to share with Aries. And I'm going to share this story later, but I really want to share this story with Aries. And I've been doing some research on something called Aries. Aries is an asteroid, and it's an asteroid that is now found in the sign of Aries. It's been in Aries forever. It takes forever to move, but it actually is making some shifts over the next, now, and even when you're, Saturn's making shifts, and now Aries is making shifts, and it's going between 23 and 24 degrees of Aries. Well, the big thing is that, we've got this thing that doesn't move forever, and suddenly it's going to have something affect it, and it's Saturn, and that it's Pluto, and that they're going to make exact squares. Let's just put it this way. Aries and Pluto haven't squared each other in 248 years. It's major. And you are an Aries, and I am a Capricorn. And so if I didn't talk to you about it, well, I wouldn't be doing my job. And so I want you guys to be aware of it. It's Aries, Eris. I would do my research on Aries. It's an amazing story. I am going to make a video about it so that you guys can understand it a little bit more. But it's major, I think, especially if you're Aries who is born with your Aries make or other planets making some type of aspect to 23 or 24 degrees of Aries. I actually have my Mars trying that. So I think it's going to be good. Anyway, I'm not going to spend too much time there. I'll record on that if you want to get more research on it later. So Aries, the big thing for you guys is that there is Mars. Mars is going into Sag. And you know, the funny thing about that, that's happening today. That is actually occurring like now. And so the great thing about that, Aries, is that Sag is trying uh, Aries, and also it's in your ninth house. It's the house of like big business and uh, higher education and publishing, and it could have something to do with legal things. It could have something to do with the law. It could have something to do with politics. What I pray does not occur is that Aries get caught up in like their causes and politics and all of these things that are going on. And because I almost got caught up in that today with my daughter. And you're like, why is she talking about herself? It's because I have a progress rising in Aries. Okay. My rising is progressed in Aries. And I almost got into this very thing I'm trying to warn you guys about, which is, um, uh, well, you don't like aggression or aggressively communicating uh, conversations about uh, abstract things like causes and philosophies and religion and politics and those type of things. I would they'll be charged for you during this time because Mars is there, and Mars is action, and Mars is drive, and Mars is aggression. And you can get so caught up in your cause and so caught up in what you're talking about. Please be aware of this because it could be devastating. The other thing I want to talk to you about is the stellium of planets that you've been dealing with all along in Capricorn. There's quite a bit of planets that are going on in Capricorn. And these are all affecting your 10th house. This is your house of career and you know, like your boss. It could be your reputation, your image, your ambitions. I think you guys have been dealing a lot with your ambitions ever since Saturn got into Capricorn. Because let's be honest, this is not something that's normal. It doesn't happen every day. It's been going on since December of 2017, and it's affecting your career. It's affecting the way other people see you. It's the way you probably see you, your image, your self-esteem and stuff is even connected to the 10th house. So I hope that you've worked on these issues with the 10th house because it really affects things. It's eye-opening. And you know, I don't know how each person has been affected by what is going on in their career sector, but I'm telling you, it's probably major. And if you've not felt it up until now, you might actually uh, well, you might actually feel it on the 10th, because on the 10th, there's going to be a lunar eclipse in the sign of Cancer, and that's going on in your fourth house. So this is the opposite of your career sector, and so it might be that there's just this opposition between your home life and your career, your family and your career. Um, you know, hiding out in your career, because this puts the full moon down in the fourth house, which is at home. This is not out and about. This is inside, working from home, you know, hiding behind your computer or something like that. And this is going to occur on the 10th. And when it does, Saturn and Pluto are going to be opposed it, and you're going to feel that, Aries. On the 13th is when Venus joins Neptune in your 12th house. You guys are going to really, I think that's actually going to be a good thing for you. The only thing I want to say about that, though, is not, don't get lost or caught up in doing things in secret, especially like if it's drinking, partying, drugs, smoking, all that kind of stuff, because Venus tends to do that and it thinks it's hidden. And so it can do the decadent things it wants to do in hiding. But no, it'll come back to bite you in the ass. So don't do it. Okay. Because you guys have Chiron like sitting on the ascendant for Aries. And I feel like when it being the wounded healer, if you guys do anything that's a little bit not right, everyone's going to end up finding out about it later. I've been really picky about that. Now, here's the other thing, you guys, on the 10th is that Uranus is going direct in Taurus. This is the second house of money. Now, I don't know. Okay, I'm going to tell you guys, my money has been it's not been right. I haven't had my money right since I don't even know when. I really don't. I'm not happy with my money. I feel like it could be a lot better. Okay. So now I'm thinking with Uranus finally going direct after like 6 months or whatever, maybe I can finally say, yeah, my money is exactly where I want it to be right now. I'm making money commensurate with the effort that I'm putting out and yada, yada. Um, you know, this has been an issue, I think, for a lot of people. And I'm hoping that with it going direct, that let's hope something good happens. The thing about Uranus is this. Yeah, it's crazy. Okay. It could be crazy bad or it could be crazy good. And so we've got to like do something like to still our minds that we're about to have crazy good experiences when it comes to money. I really believe that, especially with the sun and the Mercury and Venus and then the new moon on the 24th of January, all of them going to be in the 11th house of hopes and dreams and wishes in the sign of Aquarius. Well, yes, this is going to be crazy money, crazy good money. That's the way I'm looking at it, okay, you guys? That's the way I see it. That's the way I see it. We got crazy good money coming because we still got those planets in the 10th house. And as long as we're working on our image, we're working on our ambitions, we're working on our careers, Aries, got this. We can do this. Oh, and make sure that you put out your best intentions, do your new moon prayers before the new moon in Aquarius on the 24th. And that's because it is in your house of hopes, dreams, and wishes. I really do believe if you do your new moon prayers, that you are going to be able to attain your hopes, dreams, and wishes for the year of 2020. Okay. Well, much love and light and to all of you, anyone who's hung in here with me the entire time. Many blessings to you. It's been my pleasure to do this. You guys should know by now, I really do love doing what I do with you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and put on some music. Let's see what I've got here. Is this the old music I had? Let's see what I got. Yeah, let's go ahead and put this music back on. This jamming, ain't it? Okay, you guys, I'm out here. Blessings. Oh, I love it. That's a great song. It's this one here. I'm having too much fun. My goodness.